Welcome to Screen Riot. This week's movie is Jacob's Ladder, a horror film from 1990. This episode will contain major spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's available to stream on all the major services for $2.99. Go check it out and come back to the podcast because this is Screen Riot.
Welcome to Screen Riot, the show where we let fate choose the movie we review. And as you heard from Eddy earlier, this movie that we're going to be doing this week is Jacob's Ladder from 1990. I'm one of the hosts, Justin, and I'm here with Eddy, Kyle, and John, and we're glad you're listening to us.
Yeah.
So if you like what you're listening to, please make sure you go to the Apple Podcast app and give us a like, subscribe, leave us a review, because that actually helps us way more than you even realize.
Even if you don't like it, subscribe, review it.
Tell us how awful we're doing.
There you go.
Something.
And I would say do it no matter what platform you're using. If you're using Apple Podcasts, head over there. If you're using Spotify, head there. Justin's main point with this, he was the one speaking, is definitely give us some feedback, because even if it is, wow, you guys suck, it's okay. We can take it. We'll live.
Criticism.
And we'll do better. If it means we got to cut Kyle out of the show, stranger things have happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do tend to pick those odd movies.
Yep.
Kind of like
Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, wait.
Speaking of, go ahead, Justin.
Well, I really wanted to say one quick thing about the review is if you leave us a review, that would be awesome. I kind of want to start doing this thing where maybe we pick a random review of the week and we read what that person said. Ooh. So I actually picked one already that I'm going to read.
Ooh.
Which might be kind of cool. Might help people, entice people to go do it.
Okay.
So the subject here they put is The Wheel of Fate. Love hearing everyone's take on movies. Some of these I've never heard of, which is awesome. Love watching things I haven't seen. The Wheel of Fate is a great way to keep it lively and totally random.
There you go.
Nice.
Yes. So thank you to that person who randomly reviewed our show, and go do more.
Might be kind of fun to give us 5 stars and then slam us in the text. It'd be like a fun game, like who can be the meanest to us, but still give us 5 stars. Feel like I've never heard worse shit on the radio ever.
I like it.
I mean, seriously, I took a fart earlier in the toilet. It was better than hearing Eddy's voice.
If you're gonna,
and yet 5 stars.
if you're gonna slam us, then give us 5 stars, and that'll definitely get you on the show.
Yes.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
So like we said earlier, this was Jacob's Ladder. It's from 1990. 2020 was the 30th anniversary of the movie, right? Because it was 1990 was the release.
And that's how time works, right?
That's exactly how time works.
Perfect. I'm with you.
It's exactly.
We always talk about time on this show.
I'm with you so far. Go ahead.
That is linear.
And in 2019, they remade this movie.
That's right. They
Not
did.
really.
I haven't seen it.
Not really.
No, it's the same but different.
It's the same name.
It's the same name.
That's the only
It's
fucking
the
thing they
same
remade.
name.
Listen, at the end of this,
A movie by the same name will smell just the same. That's the literature, right?
Listen,
that's the
I don't know.
that movie was fucking blasphemy compared to this movie, and I say that literally and figuratively. But it had nothing to. The two movies were nothing alike. Nothing alike. Just names is all they were like. We're out of ideas. What's a good name? We can call it Jacob's Ladder.
This one was directed by a man named Adrian Lin. He's also the director. I didn't recognize the name.
Yeah.
So I had to go look him up to see what else he's done. He's directed Flashdance, 9.5 Weeks, Indecent Proposal, and Lolita.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Indecent Proposal was a very strange movie for married people. Like I do you remember Indecent Proposal, John?
no.
Woody Harrelson, Demi Moore, and Robert Redford. Robert Redford's a super rich guy who goes up to Woody Harrelson and Demi Moore and basically convinces the couple to give Demi Moore to Robert Redford for one night. He's like, I'm going to give you $1 million for one night with your wife, and he does it. And then the rest of the movie is everyone's lives falling apart. It's basically oh shit, it's a Faustian fuck, what's the word?
Sounds like a great
deal.
movie.
It's a Faustian deal where basically you get what you want, but your life falls apart because
Right.
you got what you wanted.
Like a monkey's paw.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Kinda
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
yeah.
It took less than 5 minutes for the literary professor to come out.
Okay, well, and you guys are ready?
So
We can get started with Jacob's Ladder.
And
now.
Professor,
I'm warmed up.
Jacob Singer in the film, nickname Professor.
Yeah, exactly.
Eh?
That's
See what I did there?
nothing to do with it.
That's
okay,
it's quite the parallel.
go ahead, John.
so
Like rungs on a ladder, some would say.
Oh my god.
God.
This is how this show's gonna go.
I guess so.
This is gonna be it's terrible show.
It's almost like we're drinking. I wish I was.
Yeah.
So just to give a quick summary to our listeners here, Jacob's Ladder follows a Vietnam War veteran named Jacob, played by Tim Robbins, who's mourning the death of his youngest child while simultaneously uncovering a potential conspiracy about drug testing that was performed on himself and his Vietnam unit. That's kind of the basic idea of what this whole movie is.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess on the surface.
On the
right?
surface. Yeah, as a quick, brief summary of it.
Yeah. By the way, spoilers ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
you've never seen this movie, stop now. If you haven't already stopped, and go watch the fucking movie. Because
Yeah.
there's no way there's no way you're gonna want to watch it after we're done with it here in a minute.
Yeah, and that's why I said potential conspiracy in that summary. Because we'll find out. We'll get into that a little bit later. One thing I did want to bring up was all of the biblical stuff in this movie was very on the nose to me, which I didn't quite like about the movie. Like even the name itself, Jacob's Ladder, is from a biblical story from Genesis.
Yes.
Right? It's about a guy, Jacob, a guy,
It's about a
just
guy.
some random dude.
Not John?
No,
His name was Enoch.
What
He
about
had a ladder he called Jacob.
what about Luke?
nope,
No?
nope. It's the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was about Jacob. He fell asleep and he dreamed up that there was a ladder that allowed angels to descend and to ascend to heaven to earth, go back and forth.
Yes.
Scholars debate what that actually means in the Bible up till this day, apparently.
Yes.
So let's jump into Jacob's Ladder, and we start off seeing all these Vietnam stuff going on. Right, I almost halfway expected to hear "Unfortunate Son" playing during all the helicopter scenes in the opening, but that never came. So
I thought it was a very somber opening.
it was.
I wasn't expecting Vietnam scenes to have that type of music on underlying it. It was very jarring to me.
Yeah.
It was somber. It was jarring in its somberness.
Right.
It definitely was not Apocalypse Now.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
Jeez. So let me ask you this real quick. Be honest, okay? So you're saying that the religious stuff was on the nose. I'm fine with that. However, whenever the movie starts out, it starts out in Vietnam, the way you're saying, and we see all the guys start to wig out, like things are going bad, things are going wrong,
Right.
and Jacob, I believe we see him get stabbed in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see him
Yeah.
get stabbed in the beginning. He wakes up on a subway train, and it says 6 years later. 6 or 7 years later.
I didn't see
I
a
don't
time.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember a time, but
Yeah, it was
okay.
like 6 or 7 years later is what it says.
Okay.
So my question to you is, did you know already right then what was taking place?
You know what? I honestly, yes, I did.
Okay, why?
Because of the scene, the shot where he gets stabbed at the very beginning.
Yes.
They don't show who stabbed him, and what really gave it away to me was Tim Robbins' reaction. Because he gets stabbed, he does and it's all slow motion, so there's plenty of time to see this happen.
Yes.
But he gets stabbed, he has that like shocked look, but then he has this like questioning look where he kind of like cocks his head and his eyebrows go down a little bit, almost like a tu brute kind of
Yeah.
kind of thing.
No,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I immediately went, oh, okay, he got stabbed by somebody in his platoon.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
But I didn't know to what degree that all happened, obviously.
Okay. So you knew that
I knew it was friendly fire.
You knew it was friendly fire, but you didn't know the rest of the story yet.
Right.
Okay, so that's fair. No, that's fine.
Now,
I can accept that. Yeah.
Now, I gathered that, again, spoilers ahead, I gathered that he was already dead during his first chiropractic visit scene.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of stuff that's, I think, is put there to be red herrings, but they're not.
Okay.
So, because they're very on the nose, like I said earlier, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, Danny Aiello, or is that how you say his name?
Aiello.
Yeah, Aiello. He's engulfed in that
Light.
white light behind him, and it looks euphoric, and even Tim Robbins says, "You look like an angel standing there." And even before that line happened, I was like, okay, that shot is there obviously for a reason, because filmmakers do that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so he's dead,
Yeah.
right? This is his guardian angel, is what I
And he
took
is.
from it.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is. Yeah.
so I which I think that all happens I don't know, 20 minutes
30,
or
about 30, 45
minutes
minutes into the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, yeah. So before all that, back at the beginning, with the subway, did you notice, okay, so whenever he's getting off, the guy sleeping on the chair was a demon. Did you guys catch the tail?
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
the tail, yeah.
It's fucking weird.
But I was just like kind of like taken aback. Not taken aback, but it was like
That dude's a rat.
I was like, what in the world is that?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I thought it was a snake.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I randomly just let snakes sleep on me. I'm with you.
It just looked like intestine to me.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it's weird. It's a weird part, right? Then he gets off and he can't get up the stairs. He can't get up the
Right.
stairs, right? So he's blocked off.
Symbolism.
I gave you guys a hint, though. Like, so John's got a questioning look. You don't remember this?
Focus
He
on
tried
the
to go up
stairs.
the stairs. Out of the subway?
I remember.
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
paying attention.
So he's not allowed.
I know you're not used to that.
No, I'm not. It's okay. So he's not allowed to. He's not allowed to rise yet, right? He's basically stuck at this level. Now, eventually, he does get up to, obviously, to his apartment. So he must have gotten out of the subway, but we don't actually see that happen. And I'm
Right.
wondering. I always questioned whether or not some of what takes place is actually flashes, the same way that he's flashing back and forth to Vietnam. I'm wondering if he just kind of like. If the way that the movie is cut is the way that he's actually traveling through the movie.
And that's what I took from it, because halfway through, I'm like, man, this movie's feeling really disconnected to me. It's just
Okay.
like jumping from one scene to another, and it doesn't really. It tells a story,
Yes.
but they don't necessarily fit together.
Yeah.
Like the scenes don't necessarily fit together in a fluid motion.
Yeah.
But then toward the end, I'm like, oh, okay.
Well-
I see why, and that's how I saw it, was that's how you dream.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was going to say too. Justin said that he's already dead. He's not. He's not dead until the end of the movie.
Right. Okay, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's alive.
He's dying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is death throes. By the way, spoilers. We said it 5 times, so fuck it. Okay, but yeah, like he's dying the whole time, and it's a question of, well, where are you going to go?
Yeah, and,
You know?
and I didn't think it was quite a dream. Which this is actually what I like about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I came off of it from that idea.
Yeah.
Is I've always heard that when you're dying, your brain goes in like self-preservation mode.
Yes.
And it starts trying to make sense of everything that's going on. You might be hallucinating. You might see things that's not there. That's where the leading theory of that's where people see light angels and
Yeah.
stuff. When they have near death experiences. The way I was seeing it was we were seeing this play out in real time, and the cutting back to Vietnam, those scenes. That was him coming like out of consciousness.
No,
His brain was.
You're 100% right. That's exactly what was happening.
Okay, see, I didn't know that was just my take on. I didn't know if that was what was supposed to be happening.
No, that's 100% what's happening. There's only a couple of scenes where he falls asleep in the dream world, or whatever you want to call it, what John's calling the dream kind of thing. There's only a couple of scenes where he falls asleep there, and it is like a slight flashback. But that typically is not what's taking place. Like there was a flashback whenever he and Michael, hint, are talking. That when they're talking about the battlefield, and he's like, and we gave you guys the drugs, and you killed each other, that type of thing. That scene was a flashback, but it was an actual flashback. It's Tim Robbins remembering what took place on the battlefield. It wasn't he woke up from the world, the world, dream world that he's living in. He doesn't wake up at that point. It's actually like him remembering at that point.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now the reason why it's disjointed, by the way, I got to touch on this real quick. So years ago, back whenever Jacob's Ladder, the 2019 version came out, I knew it was going to come out. So this was like 2018. I read up on this movie, and I was like, I'm curious about the 1990 version. And I was always curious why, because there seems to be two things happening. There seems to be two stories being told. There's the religious story that's being told that you're watching this guy basically decide, is he going to go to heaven or go to hell, right? And Danny Aiello puts it perfectly. If you're going to hold on to your life and hold on to shame and hold on to sadness and all that kind of stuff, then you're going to see devils tearing your life away. But if you're going to be free, if you're going to accept that you're dying and accept that you're going to go to a better place and all that kind of stuff, then they're not devils, they're really angels freeing you of the world, right? Well, there's that story. And then there seems to be this other story that's about Vietnam and testing and, testing on soldiers like with Agent Orange and stuff like that. There seems to be that story. Well, there's a reason. The screenplay was written for the second story, I mean, the one about Vietnam. That's what the screenplay is actually written for. The director got a hold of it and was like, yeah, cool, but religion. and and did this whole thing where I think, or maybe I'm flip-flopping them, but I believe that's the way it went. Was the director was like, no, it'd be really cool if we actually, took this idea of, he's dying. That's a great idea. Like, he's dying and he's dealing with, what happened to him on the battlefield. Well, what would happen to somebody who's dying? They'd be dealing with what comes after death. So that's whenever they came up with, his name's Jacob and Jacob's Ladder and this whole bigger thing, and we're going to change the name of his girlfriend. Her girlfriend's not going to be Lauren. Now it's going to be Jezebel. Right? Which, by the way, I do like the Elizabeth Pena joke with Jezebel, where when he's in bed and she's like, "Don't forget you sold your soul for a good lay," and you guys know the story of Jezebel, right? The guy, I forget the name, but it was a king. He basically gave up his soul for the whore that he was dating, was Jezebel, Jezebel, excuse me. So he gave up his soul, he gave up, his kingdom and everything for a good lay. So she makes that joke, and then he's like, he says something, he's like, no, not a good lay. And then they get really close to each other and they're like, the best. And they do that. I was like, oh, I don't know. I thought they had really good chemistry for her being a demon. You know what I mean? Like,
the scenes with those two,
yes,
are the best in the film. I think they had really good on screen chemistry.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't be the same film, I don't think, with another actor or another female.
Yeah, I agree with
supporting actress.
Well, I think she bounced back and forth. See, to me, when I watched because I watched it, I tried to watch it Kyle's way. I tried to watch it again cold without really knowing what was going on. And when I watched it this time, I was like, I really like how she's what makes it hard to realize what's going on.
Yeah, because she's a constant.
Not just that, she bounces back and forth between being a caring girlfriend and a crazy girlfriend and then a pissed off girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, you're
and
right.
Oh, yeah, a demon.
Yeah, because, well, yeah.
Like, she goes back and forth against all these things. Like, when he's got the fever and she's dumping him into the ice bath and everything, you're like, well, why would a demon do that? Like, if he's really boiling up and he's going to die.
Because you're not supposed to put cold on a fever.
Well, but I mean, you could if it's that high, you got to get the temperature down somehow.
I thought that was actually a myth.
I don't know. Maybe in the 90s it wasn't a myth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the way that she takes care of him and stuff like that, and like the coming back, and it just seems like she cares about him in some way. There's actually a deleted scene, by the way. I'll tell you about with this in a second. But she kind of threw me with that. But then on top of that, the times that they're fighting, that she acts nuts and whatnot. I mean, I'm like, okay, is she a demon or is she just a crazy girlfriend? I mean, it seems like she wanted to bang the guy she was dancing with in the apartment. Maybe she's just a fucking crazy girlfriend. I mean, that could be the truth. You could watch this movie, except for the ending, obviously. You could watch this movie and kind of go, is he just nuts? Is he in the real world and he's just fucking going crazy? I mean, and that's where the Vietnam stuff comes in.
That's honestly how I took it the whole time.
Did you the entire time?
That he was schizophrenic?
I looked at it completely on the surface, and I did not dive in deeper to any character.
Okay.
It was basically like skimming a rock.
So that hospital scene with you must have been really strange then. But yeah, the one with all the body parts on the ground.
A little bit. Yeah, I was like, okay, well, obviously, I had some inkling here and there that, okay, the chiropractor was like his guardian angel or something like that. Yeah. Because he's the fixer.
Yes.
He's like, oh, well, he's getting into trouble, so let me fix him. It's like, what are you guys doing? And he rushed into the hospital. I was like, where's Jacob? It's like, where is he? And he steals him from the hospital, and then he's like, I'm going to fix you and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, well, he's the good in all of this. He is the rock. He's the one that you turn to when you need help or something like that. So, it's just all on the surface for me.
There's another way that I looked at this too.
Okay.
As I was digesting it. I was going off of what Danny Aiello was saying about demons and angels and all, and it could be looked at that he's dying in Vietnam. He's dying, and he's in a purgatory place.
Yes,
where he doesn't know that he's dead. And so if you go off of what Danny Aiello says, that demons are actually your angels. They're trying to help you cross over.
Well, they're trying to help you like get rid of the world.
Right? Yeah, they're trying to help you cross over and say, okay, look, you're done here. It's your time to go. And that could the way I saw that was, okay, the demon / angel tries to run him over in the subway.
Yeah.
To say, okay, you know what, you're not realizing you're dead.
Yeah.
We need to do something to realize you're dead, and we're making you go crazy in hopes that you're going to jump in front of a bus,
Yeah.
or that you're going to jump off of a building,
You're
or something
absolutely
like that,
Yep.
to kill yourself or put yourself in a situation. They tried to blow him up in the car, and that didn't work.
Well,
They
yeah.
also tried to run him over.
So they tried to run him over. So
Yeah.
all these things going, okay, we're trying to push you to realize that your life is over, so you can cross over and get out of this purgatory.
So I think what you're saying is plausible. The one piece is I don't know about them necessarily killing themselves or like you're saying, have him jump off a roof or whatever, because he's got all these guys that were with him in the unit, right? That show up. And those guys, I think, are actually dying on the battlefield the same way he's dying on the battlefield. So when we see his buddy get blown up, the reason why we see his buddy get blown up is the idea that he's actually dying from purgatory, right?
Gotcha.
But because he went out with fear in his heart, he went out with this idea that demons were coming after him, and he didn't want to die, and he didn't want to die, and he didn't want to die. He actually gets blown up and quote unquote sent to hell.
Or
Yeah.
it's more like literal than that. He was the one that was sitting near the hut.
Yes.
And he was the one that was frozen, and like he was just looking at everything, and he's just like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." And then a mortar actually hits that hut.
Oh, okay, so
and
you're
he
thinking like
blows
maybe
up.
he actually blows up. Maybe yeah.
That's like, it's like, if you guys are saying this right, that everything is parallel.
Yeah.
Like his himself seeing demons and all that kind of stuff, talking to his buddy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's paralleling the attack and him getting carried off into the helicopter and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The explosion might have been a real life explosion in real life.
I never thought about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's very possible. Now, the deleted scene I was talking about a minute ago. So there's a deleted scene where you see Jesse and Jacob, and they end up in a fight inside of Jacob's old house. The house that he ends up seeing Macaulay Culkin in at the end is his son. Mm-hmm. So they end up in a fight in this house, and it's like strobe lights, and it's very like late 90s, way overdone.
Right.
But they're fighting, and she turns into a demon in front of him. Okay? Mm-hmm. And he's like, "What are you?" And he's screaming at her, and there's like a black sheet over her face, and the wind's blowing real fast and all this shit. Like, it goes way more like a basic horror movie, religious horror movie than I think what this director wanted to do. I think that's why I got cut. But he's like screaming, he's like, "What are you?" etc. And he decides, after nothing happens for like 20 seconds, he decides to reach out, and he pulls the sheet off of Jesse. And when he pulls the sheet off of her, it's not Jesse, it's not a demon, it's actually him staring back at himself. Okay? So the notion there is that he's torturing himself.
Right.
He's the one holding on to his family. He's the one holding on to Gabe, the fact that Gabe died and it was his fault. He's the one holding on to all this pain and suffering and shit, and that's what's going to hold him either on Earth or, quote-unquote, in hell.
So, I mean,
you see what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm glad they cut that out, to be honest.
Yeah, it would have been a little more on the nose.
Well, I just think it would have more complicated things.
Yeah,
because we still got that idea of the reason he's being, quote-unquote, tortured is because he's clinging on to these earthly things.
Yes.
That still comes across. Because that's what I got from his conversation with Michael. Is once that conversation, that the whole movie is leading up to that very important pivotal scene
with Michael. Yes.
Because he can't move on until he talks to Michael and releases. He lets go. He finally stops trying to find out what happened about the Agent Orange and all that. Once he does that, then he can go and be with his son in heaven.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah,
no, I agree with you. And I think the scene with Michael is step one. I think going home and going, because he's like, I'm going back to Jersey or whatever, and he's like, "Here's all the money I got," and the guy's like, not with me, you're not. He's like, just take me to my house, and he's like, "Where is it?" And the way he says it, it was very obvious that he already had an inkling as to what's going on. He's more aware now of what's happening than he was before. And when he walks in and sees, the stuff and nobody's home, he's like, well, "What the hell?" And then he sees Gabe playing. That's when I think he's like, "Oh, okay, check, please. Like I get,
Yeah.
I'm dead. Oh,
Yeah, and see,
that's
whole
what the
time,
doctor meant in the hospital.
Yeah, so it's like at the very end, he's on the slab, in the tent, in the medical tent, and I was thinking, holy shit, he was dead the whole time.
Well,
He-
I think
he-
when,
I
He
thought
just died.
Well, I
Yeah.
thought anyway that he was in purgatory.
Right.
yeah, which I think is where John was going with it, and
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily a wrong way to consider it. I don't.
No, because they make it feel like that for
Yes,
sure.
but I think that the idea of purgatory for us, I think what and don't get me wrong, I could be fucking wrong. Let me be very clear, I could be wrong, but I think what the director's saying is that the idea of time in general, time doesn't pass. I mean, in other movies we've seen this too, like What Dreams May Come is another movie that's fucking amazing, deals with purgatory, deals with heaven and hell, etc.
Inception.
A little bit, yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah. So time doesn't function on the same way on every plane, right? So in this plane, time, I mean, it's been 7 years since he was in Vietnam. It's like he's lived this whole life where he's, got his degree, finished his degree, and didn't do anything with it, and now works for the post office and all this stuff, right? But in our world, he's still dying, like he's on his way to die from being stabbed in Vietnam. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
When he says on the slab, like Kyle said, he died with peace on his face. That's whenever he walked up the stairs with Macaulay Culkin. The way I took it, anyway, though. Go ahead.
Right, I agree with you, and the way I see it, with it can be purgatory. I know we don't understand what purgatory actually is.
Yes. Yeah.
But that was his purgatory,
True.
and since we don't know what purgatory actually is, it could be like a series of cutscenes
Yeah.
that makes sense to you because it's happening to you.
Yeah.
But it might not make sense to someone on the outside like us. We are outsiders viewing him
Yes.
and feeling what he feels.
That's a good point. Yeah. Now, talking about the stairs, by the way, so he can't get out the subway. He also can't get up the stairs at the party. Do you guys notice that? He goes to go up the stairs at the party,
And
and
he gets blocked.
and the
the
fortune
palm
teller,
reader.
palm reader, stops him. And I love that scene though because she's flirting with him, A, which I
Yeah.
thought was funny, and then B, she's like, well, according to this, you're already dead, baby, and like again, kind of flirting with him, and pointing out to him again, you're dead. There's 4 times I think in the movie that he's told point blank, you are dead.
Yeah.
And he's not. He just doesn't seem to grasp what's being said to him. The party scene though has Lucifer in it, which is a weird little
Yes.
cameo.
Oh, is that who that's supposed to be?
It's supposed to be Lucifer.
Okay, I just thought it was like a random demon.
That was
Random
grinding,
demon with
that was
the-
grinding up against his girlfriend.
No. The guy in the doorway with the mustache and goatee,
Oh, that
like
was
a very
Lucifer.
classical looking Lucifer. I mean,
Oh,
Okay, I didn't catch that.
he had a mullet.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I mean, the parallels to Angel Heart are pretty obvious in
Right.
terms of both deal with religious ideas and whatnot. The biggest difference, because Kyle, you brought up Angel Heart earlier off air. I can see the religious parallels, but that's pretty much where it ends because the stories are completely different. It's not like Lucifer is trying to get Jacob.
Right.
He's not. You know what I mean? If anything, Jacob isn't really trying to be gotten by anybody. Nobody's trying to take him. You know what I mean? They're more just trying to free him, but in doing that, he's torturing himself.
Right.
Which is what's funny about that scene too with Jezebel. When she's fucking the other demon basically on the dance floor. They're dancing, but let's be honest.
It's dancing like the kids nowadays.
That scene,
Bumping
when I was a
around.
kid, a lot of the scenes in this movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. But that scene in particular, when the horn tusk thing shoots out of her mouth, when the demon that's dancing with her impales her with his horn penis, or what I don't know what to call
I
it.
guess that's what it is.
Scared the shit out of me as a kid because there were like the flappy leathery bat wing things happening and there's like flashes and he's obviously stressed out and then all of a sudden horn out of her mouth. I was like, oh my God. Used to scare the hell out of me.
I actually like the editing in that scene. Not the crazy strobe, all that.
No,
but,
that was cheesy.
Yeah, that was kind of cheesy. But when after he freaks out and he lands on the ground and the camera's looking at him from the ground, and you just kind of hear the thud of the music and it just slowly fades out and the editing goes from black and then it cuts it back into the scene. The black stays a little bit longer and then it cuts back in and a little bit longer and it kind of goes back, but then it slows down again.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward. It's weird to try to convey
Exactly
vocally
what's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you just have to see that scene to understand what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, it's disorienting, but at the same time, it's just like, wow, that was really well done.
Yeah.
There's quite a few things in it that are.
made me most of the time if I get actually like dislodged from a movie or something like that, if it like, oh, I need to pause this for something because I'm getting bored or something like that. No, this one actually popped me out of the movie. I'm thinking, damn, that was a good shot. I really like that scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wait, I need to get back into this because it's like that sidebar.
Yeah.
Damn, that was a good cut. I like that.
Yeah, sometimes a movie can be too good.
Yeah. Like,
that
oh
what it
shit,
is?
that's
Yeah.
good. I like that.
That's the one thing too. And I'm not trying to brag on this because it was something I picked, but there's quite a few things about this that to me, there's certain scenes like the scene in the post office, the scene on the subway, the grittiness of it, the graininess, etc. I'm like, okay, it feels like a late 80s, it actually feels kind of like a 70s movie. But there's some other scenes that I'm like, damn, this movie's shot well. Like the Vietnam stuff, the way that they did the Vietnam stuff, it's clean, but it's not too clean. It's dirty, but it's not too dirty. You know what I mean? Like they do it well to where you feel like it's a real scene from a war movie, but it's not something that I don't know. I hate to say Patton, but it doesn't feel like Patton. It doesn't feel like he just got his pants pressed and now he's walking across a war field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Patton's a good war movie. Don't look at me in those eyes, John.
No, I'm not. No,
But I'm just saying it doesn't convey as being overly clean, but at the same time it doesn't feel so gritty like they were like, this is war. They didn't go that way
well,
either.
it's almost like Patton meets Platoon. In a
Yes,
way.
yes, exactly.
I didn't quite like the craziness of the camera during the Vietnam battle scene.
Okay.
It was
got
a little
crazy.
too much.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It
Yeah.
got a little bit too whip panny.
Yeah. I mean, if they would have toned that down just a tad, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But to me, it was just a little much.
And you're saying like this is like the gritty, gross version of defending your life.
Yeah, in a weird way, yes.
It's like
Yeah.
defending your life is very, very clean.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
Defending Your Life is great.
And it actually came out a year later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 91. So I'm thinking, man, this is okay. So if you compare these two to like just the scenes and everything, like what you see,
the basic premise.
of
Yeah.
purgatory or you're dying or you're dead or something like that. So you're basically going through your past life or trying to get rid of your life or whatever it is on Earth.
Yeah.
The defending your life is very, very, very clean. Everybody's clean. It's
Well, it's a comedy too.
Yeah, it's a comedy.
It's different, yeah.
But this one, you've got, I mean, everything in this movie is dirty.
Yes.
Everything.
Which again makes me wonder because okay, so the idea, okay, so the whole idea, like I said, looking at Danny Aiello's statements, looking at like that cut scene where I was talking about Jacob was torturing himself, which granted you can't necessarily take into account, but considering that we know about it, right?
Right.
That world, I think it kind of goes to what Justin was saying, where that world is actually shaped by his version of hell. Mm-hmm. So in a weird way, if you are somebody who's like, I'm going to die, I'm going to go to heaven, and everything's happy, and
Sure.
I'm actually okay with dying. I'm perfectly fine with it. It might have been a completely different thing. He might have been in the fields of Elysium for all. I mean, like it might have been like a gladiator.
Gladiator.
Yeah, like he's
The wheat.
doing the wheat hand thing. The wheat spirit fingers thing he does in Gladiator.
Well, what did you guys think of Tim Robbins acting in it?
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was
Not
great.
great.
Classic Tim Robbins.
I thought it was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I think it was on par for his capability of acting. I think he did really well in this movie.
This was one of the first dramatic things that he did, and he was known as a comedy actor prior to this for the most part. So you're talking about like Bull Durham, Tim
Yeah.
Robbins, like
Yeah,
I think that was the one he did right before this. I think
Yeah.
Bull Durham was like 89. or
yeah,
88.
banging Mindy, the ball girl, so to speak, in the clubhouse and making jokes about his fungus on his feet, and then he's going to go in and step into a religious drama horror movie. I mean, it's pretty drastic change. So, I mean, I think it was good. I think that whenever you look at movies like Cadillac Man with Robin Williams, and have you guys ever seen Cadillac Man?
Yes.
Yeah. And obviously Shawshank Redemption.
Hudsucker
and
Proxy.
Hud-
Well, that was like 91, 2 or something.
something like
maybe.
that. Yeah, but you start to look at roles like that, and you're like, okay, you can kind of see where his chops are and where they're not necessarily at. Like I like Tim Robbins more than I like Jeff Bridges, but I think they both, for some reason, I get those two confused. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're both like overly oafish white dudes, and yet I prefer Tim Robbins in most cases to like a Jeff Bridges.
Well, the reason I asked is because there were other actors that was considered for the role.
Robert Redford.
No, and I was curious what you guys thought what if Richard Gere had got it?
Oh hell no!
I don't
Hell
know,
no.
like Pretty Woman.
No,
Yeah.
he's too
No.
clean.
I think you're right. Yeah.
He's too clean.
No,
you can't really dirty him up. He would still look clean.
Well,
It's weird.
I'll tell you this: he was in Red Corner, where he plays an American businessman who ends up being caught up in a conspiracy, a murder conspiracy in China. And he gets pretty gritty and dirty in that movie.
Okay.
He doesn't do bad. The problem I have with Richard Gere is he's a clay person. He has no real features. He looks like he was shaped by somebody, and like halfway through they went, "Nah, I'm done." Like that's my bigger issue with Richard Gere.
Well, honestly, my issue with anybody, and I'm hard pressed to think of anybody else but Tim Robbins to pull this off. Is that if you look at historical footage from Vietnam, they're not descript guys. They're indescript, normal, everyday people. They're not like, oh wow, that gentleman has a great jawline. You know, they're you know, and Tim Robbins fits that bill.
Oh, I agree. I think you're right. Yeah.
He's normal, normal everyday dude that you could walk up to on the street.
Yeah, I agree with that. When Jezebel pulls his pants down to get him into the ice bath, I was like, "Oof, that's not an ass I need to see again. That is not a good looking ass."
Well, and he sports the Vietnam jacket well.
True.
Yeah, he does.
Not everybody. It was kind of weird though. It was too long for him.
Well, he's a weird length. The guy's like 6'6", isn't he? He's like a ridiculously tall person.
Yeah, he's pretty tall. But yeah, like the jacket. I noticed one scene. It would almost look like it was maybe like 5 or 6 inches too long on his arms, and like his hands wouldn't even pop out of it. It was just like a little kid wearing a big jacket.
I wonder if that was common at the time.
Maybe it was just one size fits all. It's like if you're short, then just roll them up.
It's whatever you got.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
he's actually 6'7".
Holy
6'7".
crap.
I knew he was tall as shit.
Yeah, he's
he's
pretty
that
damn
tall.
tall.
Who
Damn.
else? Yeah, Tim Robbins is a gigantic person. That's why what's her name from Bull Durham ends up.
Well, she's 5'2".
What's her name though?
Yeah, Elizabeth Pena.
No. Bull Durham. The woman, the main hookup, the one it's his real life wife.
Oh.
Susan Sarandon.
That's right.
Yeah, she apparently got a glimpse of the Tim Robbins on set, if you know what I mean, and and was like, "Yep, I'm marrying that."
He hangs dong.
Oh, to say the least. And
Thunder guns it.
yeah,
Oh my God.
there's a reason why Elizabeth Pena had such good chemistry on set, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so I mean, I think his size and not just his height. I think his height played well with again trying to push across this lanky Vietnam guy. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Who else went out for it?
So there was another person that was considered, which was Dustin Hoffman.
Oh God, no.
No. Dusty, no.
Fucking Rain Man meets the devil. Like no.
Yeah, you can't. I couldn't even imagine Dustin Hoffman being in a Vietnam situation.
It's Vietnam. It's Vietnam.
Yeah.
Choppers.
Yeah.
Coming in.
I see what you're doing there.
Choppers at 5. Yeah.
Choppers at 5.
Gotta get to the chopper.
Gotta get to the chopper. Get it.
He's like, I swear to God, if there's another devil, there's demons. There's demons coming out. Like it's just talking real foul. Dustin
Demons
Hoffman.
everywhere. Give me demons. Give me demons.
Well,
Who else?
I got one more, and I
Yep.
can one up the Dustin Hoffman
Oh
weirdness.
no.
Al
Tom Cruise.
Pacino.
Al
Pacino?
Listen,
No.
okay. Like no, I don't know. He does that son of a woman. He does that son of a woman speech.
Bobby, I don't like Vietnam.
There you go. Yeah. Jezebel. Say Jezzy.
Jazzy, look at this demon over here. I'm seeing demons.
I like it.
That's too good.
Who's this chiropractor? It gets me going.
You look like an angel.
That was a
losing
little.
it.
That was
I'm
a little
losing
more
it.
New Yorky.
You
I
look,
don't know.
you look like an angel.
I'm
Jesus
losing it.
Christ.
I can only go so far.
You look like an angel.
Yeah.
Good Lord. You sound like Bernie Sanders.
Let me get my mittens.
Crossman.
Oh my God.
Give me my mittens.
Crossman on the battlefield.
Yeah. So anyway, Al Pacino was also considered for the role
Yikes.
of Jacob Singer.
Wow.
That's the wrong pick, definitely. So yeah, I'm glad it was Tim Robbins. I don't know. Overall, though, I watched this movie when I was a kid. I think I watched it in the theaters, which
How
again,
the hell did you get in the theater? Oh yeah,
I have a parent. I didn't go by myself at 9.
Well, you told us before that you had friends in the movie theater business, and so he's
Oh,
like
but not
sneaky in.
Not at 9. Like I went with my parents. Born on the 4th of July, right? Born on the 4th of July. I watched that with my parents in the theaters, and there's like boobs. Willem Dafoe's talking about having people sit on his face because he's a paraplegic. Like there's all kinds kinds of stuff in that movie I shouldn't have seen, and yet,
Yep.
I think I was like 11 years old.
I would like to go see Jacob's Ladder, please.
Yes, exactly. So
I'll take my milk cold.
I just remember, I just remember this movie scaring the shit out of me. Now, watching it as an adult now, I don't find it as scary, but I do think that it fits into horror because I'm not an overly religious person, but I would think that demons ripping away my life is fucking scary. And I think some of the things the cinematographer and the director were able to do, because I read something again a couple years ago, they had a technique for like filming it in like 16 frames a second. You got to tell me, which way would it be? If I filmed in 16 frames a second and then sped it up to 30, everything would look shaky as shit, right?
Yes, if you film it at a slower frame rate, then you play it at normal speed.
And it looks shaky.
And then it goes fast.
That's what they did. So all of those scenes with like the faces shaking back and forth and all that stuff, they were just recording it at like super, super low frame rates and then speeding it up to 30.
Wait, no, it's the opposite. You're right. Sorry. Yeah, you film it at a high frame rate, and then if you play it back at normal speed, it compresses, so it's faster.
Is that...
I think. I don't know. They did camera things.
It's one of those things.
You
Movie
act
tricks.
like we know movies or something.
So anyway, so the guy when they're going through the hospital and there's the amputee who's up on the table who has his face wrapped in like black electrical tape or leather or something. That whole scene scared the shit out of me as a kid when they were rolling over the body parts and they're going through. So check this out too. All the guys that are in the insane asylum.
Yes.
Like, remember he was going underneath them. There were people like dancing on the chain link fence and shit.
Yeah.
Some of those are actually thalidomide victims.
Yes.
Which is just fucking crazy. If you don't know about thalidomide, by the way, look that up. If you want to trust the not to go to AU here, but if you want to trust the vaccine that the country's rolling out, thalidomide was sold to pregnant ladies as a prenatal vitamin and ended up causing like incredibly horrible birth defects. So some of those people that are in the movie are actually some of those victims. Others in the movie, there's like the director of photography apparently makes an appearance. The guy who's slamming his head against the window with the blood.
Is that him?
There's like all these different people who did cameos because they were like, "What scene you want to be in? The mental shots. Let's do that."
Put me in a straitjacket.
Right, and then you got the doctor who puts the syringe actually into his head, who's got the flaps of skin instead of eyes. Fucking scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, that scene.
My God.
I thought that was the scene that you were talking about that scared the hell out of you because I was like, it scared me. I mean, I just don't like needles, and then having that shit
right in the forehead.
Like, no. Oof. Oh, nay. Oh, by the way, the frame rate thing. I didn't look this up. I just remembered it.
You know it good.
Yeah. Okay. So you record a high frame rate to slow it down. So if you record in 240 frames a second, you can slow it down and make it slow-mo.
Yeah.
But if you record it in 24 frames and play it back in 60, you're speeding it up.
Okay, so maybe that's
It's
what
called
they did.
3-2 pull down.
Okay, so they recorded in 24. Can you record lower than 24 frames per second?
Yeah, you can record it 1 frame a second if you want.
So they recorded in a really, really low rate,
Yeah.
and then they played it back at 30 frames a second to be normal with everybody else's, with all the rest of the shot. And that's how they got the head shaking stuff. There's really not a lot of computer graphic stuff that they did this. They did it all in the camera.
Yeah, I learned everything was done
cool as
practically
shit. Yeah.
in this movie.
Yeah,
Which was
No
nicely
CGI.
done. I thought.
I thought it was smooth as hell for what they were doing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, it feels like a much newer movie. Go ahead, John. Then I'm going to say the Jacob's Ladder thing.
One thing I was happy to see, were the actors that it's like, oh yeah, that guy, you know, that guy, and you see him in movies like Ving Rhames.
Yes.
You know, I can't recall off the top of my head other than Mission Impossible.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, he was in Pulp. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was in Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction too. But that was a surprise. I was like, oh crap, you know, he's in here. And then the major surprise was a not bald Pruitt Vince.
Yeah, he's the guy with the crazy eyes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
I'm
in Identity.
I mean, yeah, I had to look him up. I'm like, I've never seen him not bald.
Actually, you have. He was also in Angel Heart. He plays
that's right.
he plays the young detective to the big fat detective at the end of the movie.
They always had hats on though.
Was he wearing a hat?
Yeah,
now?
I think they were.
Oh, fine. But
Okay,
he had hair
see.
under that hat. Damn it.
Who killed the bodies?
Yeah.
Or who killed the person?
But there's another connection to Angel Heart, by the way.
But what about random Jason Alexander?
Yeah, Jason Alexander.
Jason
too.
Alexander as the shit-eating lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That he almost beats the shit out of in the courthouse. I was like, "Woo, this
Yeah,
kid."
I think Jason Alexander did a fine job too.
I think
his
he was
little
fine.
little supporting role that he had.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't like him in Seinfeld, so I'll take him in this.
The
you know?
ice eating, Fritos sharing lawyer.
You want some?
Yeah.
You want some?
You want some?
Yeah,
Anybody?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess I didn't know this, but the the credits at the end. I didn't see Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, he wasn't even credited.
No, he's not credited.
Not credited
Wow.
in this movie.
Wow. Well, he's really young. I think he's like 5 in this movie. 4 or 5. He's really, really young.
Yeah.
So, but I am surprised they didn't even give him credit for it.
John Hughes watched the movie, and the rest is history.
That's true. That little
That
boy,
kid can walk up some stairs.
he really sold me on being hit on his bicycle. That bicycle scene's fucking sad, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
That was really sad.
I was
Like,
hoping that there wasn't going to be a scene like that, but
well, you had to know why he felt guilty. Do you get why you felt guilty over the bicycle thing?
yes.
I'm just making sure.
What?
Well, for the
kind of
listeners,
question is that?
for the
Hey, John,
listeners,
did you
John.
watch the movie?
That's what I forgot this week.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
I forgot to watch the movie.
John, for the listeners, why did he feel guilty about the bicycle thing?
I'm not telling you now.
Fine. He felt guilty, John. I'm going to help the listeners out. He felt guilty because he taught him how to ride the bicycle. That's why he felt guilty. So he was holding on to the death of his son. He's blaming himself for the death of his son just because he taught him how to ride the bike. He didn't tell his son to stop in the middle of the road and pick up whatever the fuck he was picking up, like his papers or something, right? He didn't tell him to do that, but he felt this guilt because he taught him how to ride the bicycle in the first place. And it's like, damn, like that's just tragic, man. I would hate to, teach my son how to do something, and the next thing I know, he dies because I taught him that in my mind. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's not how things work, but you would go through your whole life blaming yourself. In fact, there was a theory. I don't know if it was the director. I think the director, it was never written out, but the theory that the director and the writer had between themselves was that the reason why he was in Vietnam in the first place was because of the guilt of his son dying. Like he already had his PhD. That's why everyone in Vietnam is calling him professor, right? So the reason why he joined up in Vietnam or allowed himself to be enlisted or whatever was because his son died and he just ran away from his life. And he was like, I'm going to fucking Vietnam, here I come to get away from the guilt I feel for the death of my son. It's fucking crazy sad.
Interesting.
Man. Yeah.
So what were you going to say about Jacob's Ladder?
2019. That movie, so we're clear, you should never watch it. That movie is...
Is it anything like the original?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
Nothing. It's not about religion. It's but what's funny is they named it Jacob's Ladder, and they sort of played on your knowledge, your having seen Jacob's Ladder, in order to make their twist.
Oh, okay.
Because in Jacob's Ladder 2019, they do like a whole he's being chased by somebody else and he doesn't know what's going on and all this kind of stuff, and he ends up not being able to live with the guilt of actually somebody he hurt. And then what happens is that he's alive. He's very much alive, and he's fucking crazy. So he's going through these motions, and he's like hurting his family and all this stuff because in his mind, these things took place, and now somebody else is doing them, but it was him that did all of it.
Okay.
So it's just not the same movie whatsoever. The only real twist is that I guess both guys didn't know that they were somewhere else in a weird way. I can't even make a connection between the two movies.
It was that bad.
It was that bad. I mean, it just made no sense. I was kind of happy they didn't remake the movie though, because I hate whenever they fucking remake movies.
Yeah, I hate
shot
that
by
too.
shot. Here's Jacob's Ladder with I don't know, I was gonna say Justin
Jake
Bieber.
Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal, but I was gonna say the other guy.
Matt Damon. Yeah.
I was gonna say the guy from High School Musical. Justin knows his name.
Zac Efron.
Why, Justin? Why?
What did I say? Oh, he knows exactly who I'm talking about. See? Didn't even have to give too many clues. I was going to say the guy from Baywatch. I had other things lined up. The guy from The Greatest Showman. Nope, didn't need to be said.
Was it Dirty Grandpa or something like that? That was a good one.
Was he in that too?
That was funny.
That was really fun.
Yeah, nice.
All right,
What's
so
up?
with the box office, what do you guys think the budget was for this movie?
I don't think it was very much.
Okay.
Because,
Okay.
budget-wise,
This is in adjusted dollars, right?
No, I think this is all $1990.
Okay, $1990. Ooh,
I'll say 20 million.
20.
Okay.
That's a good guess.
I was actually thinking 15.
15.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 21, Bob.
All right, so Eddie got it. It's $25 million estimated.
Hey, I could have just said fucking 20 million and one, Bob.
Yeah.
Fucking, at least I went up by
Dollar-
a million.
dollar bid.
You still could have been right, John.
$1, Bob.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so the opening weekend for this, it came out November 4th, 1990.
Ooh, it was actually a Christmas release then, so it was a winter release.
Not necessarily Christmas, maybe a fall release.
Well, that's still, you're right.
Fall release.
You're right, but it's close enough that they tend to lump those November movies in.
It probably wasn't as good as releasing it on Halloween.
On All Hallows Eve?
All Hallows Eve, yes.
Okay. What do you think?
Well, you won the last round. You go.
Weekend release? Or weekend box? I'm just going to say $1 million.
Okay.
I'm going to say that.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
You go first.
1,000,001.
Yeah.
Keep leveling up.
You're probably going to win, actually.
I'm
Keep
gonna say
leveling up.
8 million.
Well, okay, so John's the closest, $7.5 million.
Okay.
Wow. Nice. They did a lot better.
Price is Right rules, you would have been overbid.
Is that adjusted? is that adjusted for our dollars?
No,
Wow, they brought in $7.5 million in 1990.
I think so.
Because I heard
Damn.
that this didn't do well.
Well, I mean, it kind of didn't.
But it recouped. I mean, it recouped almost. What is that? 30%? No, it's just over a quarter. Yeah, it's like 30%. It recouped almost 30% of their money back in the first weekend. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But what was their global amount that they
that's
took
probably
in?
why.
The cumulative worldwide gross was $26 million.
So they just
They just
broke
made it.
a little over him.
So it had no longevity afterwards.
Yeah.
So I mean, this wasn't like it was in the movies or in the theaters. Okay,
yeah,
we're good. We made our VHS sales.
VHS sales. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, let's talk about the Rotten Tomato scores then. See when we're going to first to let's go audience first on this one.
Audience,
Yeah.
John, what do you think?
I'm gonna say the audience 72.
Good guess.
I'll do a solid 80.
73.
No, I'm gonna do shit. I don't know if I should go higher or lower. I'm gonna do an 81.
84.
Ooh,
Stole it again.
Yeah.
by 1 point.
84. All right. Oh, sorry. No, that's gross.
Yeah. 84 for the audience. And what do you guys think that the critics did?
I think they did lower. I'm gonna say that one's a 72.
I'm gonna say the critics went higher. I'm gonna say upwards of 89.
89. Okay.
You said 72?
I did.
I want to do 70.
73. You should have one upped him. You should have one upped him.
I'm making air humping some
God.
things right now
Oh,
because
dear.
Good thing we're not
I
filming
won.
this.
Because I won. Sorry.
This is why we shouldn't film.
No.
Yeah.
We just do this for fun.
Just stay audio.
So, Eddie, go ahead and let's rate this for the Screen Riot.
Okay, so my rating for this, I actually have no idea what I'm going to rate this at the beginning of this sentence. So by the beginning of this paragraph. So at the end, I will tell you what I think.
Oh, God, it's a paragraph.
It might be. I think that there's a lot of really good things about this movie. Like for me, the worst part about this movie, and this is really hard to say because it's not really necessarily a critique of the movie, but the fact that it was shot on film and it's grainy in certain areas and it's not completely clean in all sections. Like there's some scenes that look hazy. There's other scenes that, it just isn't the best, not print. That's not really what I mean, but it's just not the best quality throughout the entire movie. There's really good, clean shots like Danny Aiello's light shot. They seem to rent a better camera or something for that one scene.
Well, they probably had more lighting on that.
Or that. But then the subway shot, it looks like it's just, you can barely even see that anyone's in that subway car because it's just so shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you got to think, too, we saw this digitally.
True.
So the
true.
transfer process from film, they did transfer it from film or from the original print at
Yes.
some point.
Yes.
And so depending on how well that film aged
Exactly.
and
So-
how well it was kept and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah. So, I mean, that's probably my biggest critique. Other than that, I mean, I really like the movie overall. I think it does what it's supposed to do. I think it's a mystery. I think like you can pick up little things here and there if you're looking for it. But if you do like Kyle does and just go in to watch a movie, then I think the ending is like, wait, he was dying the whole time?
Yeah, he was dead the whole time.
What took place just now? So I think as a mystery, I think it does its purpose. As a horror, again, I just have the benefit of being scared to shit as a kid about this movie, so I'm not scared personally. Like right now, like I don't feel like when I watch I need to go pee, but I do think that they do a good job of holding suspense, of holding the mystery, and yet of still scaring the audience, and yet dropping little pieces of there's a demon. Like Elizabeth Pena's is anybody in there when she comes out and she's got the fucking black eyes and stuff. Mm-hmm. Whew. I mean, granted, again, maybe just a crazy wife, but there's a piece there that definitely is scary. So for me, I would say that this movie is like a 7. I'm going to go a 7.4. That's what I'm going to do. That's where I'm going to land. That just happened. It's a 7.4.
Okay, 7.4 for Eddie. Kyle?
Might be the highest score I've ever given.
I think it might be, actually. Have to go back and look.
Yeah, well, it's pretty close. Yeah, like Eddie was saying, how I took it was all on the surface. I didn't really go deep into it. I mean, I just saw it for what it is, and I did like how the ending it did wrap it up. I was like, oh, okay, well, he was dead the whole time. Okay, this is kind of like a purgatory type movie. He wasn't actually going insane. He was dying, or he was dead already. Mm-hmm. So it did give me some closure. No pun intended. So he's dead, so give me closure. The film was just a tick too long. Like I just remember about maybe a third of the way through it. I'm like, damn, how long is this movie? Mm-hmm. And it's was it 2 hours?
No, I think it's like an hour.
I think it's like an hour 45, something like that.
No, it's longer than that.
Is it?
Yes. I think I just looked at the runtime. What was the runtime?
It's an hour and 53 minutes.
Yeah.
53,
so an hour 53. Yeah, it's almost 2 hours long.
I mean,
it could have been. I don't know if it could have been cut down at all.
Well, they originally cut out like 20 minutes or 15 minutes of deleted scenes.
Okay.
So imagine 15 more minutes of this. Yeah.
That would have made it way too long then.
I agree. Yeah.
But, overall, it entertained. The story was somewhat decent. And their effects were awesome. For being a horror movie, you could either go, like really gory, or just like, I don't know, psychological thriller or horror or something like that. And they kind of did both in a way. Yeah. But it wasn't too gory and of going, oh, this is just gross. And they're not throwing buckets of blood at everywhere or at everybody's face or something like that. But I think I'm going to rate this actually a little bit higher. I'll do a 7.5.
Okay, so Kyle for a 7.5, and then John, what do you think?
I agree but disagree about the time.
Okay.
The first hour drug on to me, but the last hour I was hooked. Yeah. I mean, it had me glued to the TV. I don't think I moved. In fact, I think my cat jumped up in my lap when I first started watching it in that second hour.
Scare you?
Oh, Satan!
No, no, he didn't scare me. But he jumped up in my lap, and I was holding him. I don't think he got up or anything. We were just, for a solid hour. I'm just holding him, right?
I got demons running all over me.
It was all over me. And you guys know my cat. He will hurt you. But no, I liked it. I don't think I'll watch it again.
Okay.
I mean, it's one of those where I'm glad that I watched it. I like the fact that the movie makes you think, and there's no one right answer. It can be different things, and it's how you perceive crossing over, basically.
Oh my God! Hold on, tying it to the movie. Your death and whether or not you get to go to heaven or hell, or whether or not you see angels or demons, is tied to you, according to the movie. So maybe the movie was left up to interpretation at the same way that your death is sort of tied to you in that same way.
It's possible.
Right.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
We just went meta.
Did I just blow your mind?
We went meta.
Did you like to up your score?
Do you want to come up with me?
I'll stay with the 7.4. Go ahead.
And the filmmaking was good. I do think it was dark in places. They could have used, maybe like one light in some of those scenes.
Buy a lamp, guys.
Don't just rely on the halogen lights in the subway, type thing.
That's funny.
But no, I do like it. Not my favorite, not my worst, but I think I'm going to give it a solid 7.
Okay, so John gave it a 7. So I came out of this movie enjoying it. I thought, the acting was great. I did like a lot of the camera stuff. The scene that you kept mentioning when Jesse basically screams at him and turns into a demon.
Yes.
There was an interesting shot right before that we didn't talk about in the show. You see her reflection in this broken piece of glass.
Yes.
And the glass is like right over her face, and you can't. It really distorts her face. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was kind of creative because just 10 seconds later, then she freaks out and she's like a demon, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of subconscious, hey, there's something wrong with this chick.
Yeah.
Um,
One could not argue that, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty smartly written. Even though I caught on pretty early of what was going on, I thought it was still fine. Because it still kept me. It made me second guess that a little bit towards the middle, because I think I went into the area that Kyle was, where I was kind of thinking like, okay, this guy's maybe he's not dead, maybe he's just schizophrenic. So I did go back and forth a little bit on it. So it did waver that a little bit, and I like that.
I think that was intended.
Right, I think it was too.
Yeah, I think Jezebel doing the good girlfriend, bad girlfriend, possibly a demon, possibly he's just crazy. I think they did that on purpose.
Yeah. I don't think that this is a movie that I would randomly, just be like, I'm bored, I'm going to go watch Jacob's Ladder.
No.
It's the stuff of my nightmares, just randomly watching it. Like, no.
But I would consider being like, hey, friends hanging out or something. It's like, hey, have you seen Jacob's Ladder maybe? And no? Oh, well, okay, well, let's check this out maybe. I could see that happening, right? So I actually think I'm probably going to be the highest score out of here. I did have a score in mind coming into this, which I really never, ever do. But during our conversation, it kind of changed my opinion a little bit. I'm actually going to give it an 8.
Okay. Nice.
So with that means that Jacob's Ladder comes out to be 7.5.
Damn.
My score.
Yeah.
Which is pretty high.
Yeah.
On the scoring.
I think it's well deserving of a 7.5.
I think so. I think that's a pretty fair score for it. So okay, so now we need to spin.
Spin the wheel.
We're gonna roll over to John to spin the wheel.
Let's change it up. Let's get dice with our faces on them, and we'll just throw dice. No, okay,
No.
go ahead.
No.
So
I'm not playing a game in an alley.
Yeah, exactly.
So the hosts that are up for this are myself, Justin, John, and Kyle.
Yep.
Because Eddie, we just did your movie, so we're gonna roll to see spin to see who is going to do the next movie.
Damn it, quit letting them know we actually do dice.
I'm going to spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel.
And it's Justin.
God damn it. All right. So now we gotta spin to see what genre it is.
I'm going to spin this wheel, too.
Yeah.
That's a lot of genres.
That is a lot of genres. That's great.
Oh no.
Western.
Romance.
Wild card.
Wild card.
Hey, anything you want.
Interesting.
Yeah, I love that card. I love that slot.
Wild card, bitches.
Wild card.
The only bad thing about this, is that it's gone this early. But
Oh, is
beyond
it
that,
because you wanted it again?
No. I'm just saying it's the only bad thing is that it's gone early.
Yes.
I got
you
it.
wanted it.
I got it once. I'm
So
willing
he
to
could pick 2 sci-fi movies.
I'm willing to spread the love here. Come on.
So this is going to be a drama / mystery / sci-fi. This was actually my favorite movie of 2016, Arrival.
Oh, okay. The one with the spaceship that's shaped like a fingernail, but black fingernail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A quick synopsis of it is a linguist works with the military to communicate with alien life forms after 12 mysterious spacecrafts appear around the world.
Do me a favor.
Nice.
Kyle, say time in your Trump voice real fast.
Time.
That's what it's about.
It's all about time.
Time.
Since we're messing with time
Yeah.
in the last few episodes, we'll go with Arrival.
Time.
So if you want to follow along with the podcast, just go to justwatch.com, search for Arrival, and you can see all the places that it's streaming. It's usually around $2.99 for all that. Also, make sure you go to americanpodcasting.net /Screen Riot. You can see all of our past reviews there. You can see what we scored, everything. You can sign up for our newsletter and all that, where we do some cool stuff, and you can read our blogs where we do some in-depth reviews of all of our movies that we review. So definitely check that stuff out. Also, make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast, please. That helps us so much. And leave a comment if you want to be featured on the show. Just leave a comment. Also, make sure you go to our Patreon. That is patreon.com /Screen Riot. We have some cool tiers up there. We have a $3, $5, and a $10 tier. Make sure you check those out. And guys, I think we're done with this one.
Yeah, I think so.
So again, thanks for listening, everybody.
See ya.
Absolutely. Later.